Welcome, book lovers, to our literary haven, in the all-summary channel where every page turns into a journey of discovery. Today, we embark on this book is designed to boost your confidence and help you progress. Communicate Better with Everyone serves as a guide to refining your existing communication skills to suit the dual demands of your career and caregiving responsibilities. The upcoming chapters provide perspectives, practical strategies, and precise language to navigate the most challenging working parent conversations with authenticity and efficiency, minimizing stress. This isn't a basic communications course. Instead, it delves into the complex and sensitive interactions faced by working parents. Those conversations that even experienced negotiators and seasoned parents find daunting, and that typical communications courses don't cover. It explores these interactions deeply, addressing the intersection of your professional ambitions and your identity as a devoted parent. Summary of Chapter 1, 4 Conversations Every Working Parent Should Have, by Joseph Grenny and Brittany Maxfield. This chapter discusses the challenges faced by working parents and offers advice on how to navigate these difficulties. It emphasizes the importance of having open conversations with oneself, one's boss and colleagues, one's partner, and one's children. These conversations are aimed at clarifying personal goals, negotiating work-life balance, aligning family commitments, and explaining the pressures felt at work. The text highlights the significance of these conversations in achieving a healthy work-life balance and fostering understanding within the family. It also acknowledges the potential challenges and inequities faced by working parents, particularly women, in the workplace. The 4 conversations that every working parent should have, as outlined, are: 1. A conversation with yourself. This involves clarifying who you are and what you want before confidently negotiating your boundaries. It's essential to have this internal conversation to avoid getting caught up in an unwinnable game of pleasing someone else rather than choosing what is right for you. 2. A conversation with your boss and colleagues. This is an ongoing tactical conversation in which you discuss your passion for your career, work-related goals, and how your family commitments relate to these priorities. It's about negotiating the specifics of your schedule and workload while unapologetically sharing how your family commitments align with your career goals. 3. A conversation with your partner or spouse. This conversation involves speaking honestly with your partner about common goals for your children. It's about finding ways to align family commitments and work schedules, encouraging your partner to have difficult conversations at their workplace, and working together to accomplish shared goals. 4. A conversation with your child, Ren. When your children are old enough to understand, it's important to talk frankly with them about the pressures you feel and what you truly want. This conversation aims to explain the occasional absence due to work commitments, express your passion for your work, and emphasize that the family's needs are always the top priority. Summary of Chapter 2, Set Boundaries, Foil Boundary Predators, and Say No, by Priscilla Klauman. This chapter discusses the importance of setting boundaries in various aspects of life, such as work, family, and relationships. It highlights the challenges posed by boundary predators and provides strategies for effectively establishing and maintaining boundaries. The key points include the significance of agreeing to terms in advance, leveraging expertise to assert boundaries, anticipating challenges to boundaries, asking clarifying questions, and skillfully saying no indirectly. This chapter emphasizes the need to reset agreements after emergencies and the value of using persuasion rather than authority to enforce boundaries. To effectively set and maintain boundaries in conversations, it's important to follow several key strategies outlined in this chapter. Here are some of the key approaches. 1. Agree to terms ahead of time. Ensure that everyone involved consents to the terms and objectives in advance. This helps manage expectations and reduces potential opposition during the conversation. 2. Leverage your expertise. Briefly mention your credentials or expertise to assert authority when setting boundaries. This can help reinforce your position and negotiation power. 3. Anticipate challenges. Expect that your boundaries may be tested or challenged, and be prepared to respond to such situations without becoming overly reactive. 4. Ask clarifying questions. Use open-ended questions to gather more information without being perceived as negative. This allows you to understand the other party's perspective and needs. 5. Say no indirectly. Instead of outright refusal, offer alternatives to maintain the relationship and ease the negative impact of saying no. This gives the other party a sense of control and shows willingness to work together. 6. Reset agreements after emergencies. In the event of emergencies or unexpected situations, it's important to reset the agreement once the crisis is over. Allude to the initial agreement and communicate any changes clearly. 7. Avoid over-explaining when saying no. Refrain from offering a parade of the causes when saying no, as over-explaining can lead to excessive discussion and weaken your position. By incorporating these strategies into your conversations, you can effectively set and maintain boundaries while fostering positive and productive interactions. Summary of Chapter 3, What Great Listeners Actually Do, by Jack Zenger and Joseph Folkman. This chapter discusses the key behaviors and qualities of great listeners. It challenges the common belief that good listening involves remaining silent and nodding. Instead, it emphasizes the importance of asking questions, creating a safe environment for open discussion, and providing constructive feedback. The text outlines 6 levels of listening, from creating a safe space for discussion to empathizing and offering new perspectives. It concludes that great listeners act as trampolines, amplifying and energizing the speaker's thoughts and ideas. The text outlines the 6 levels of productive and balanced conversations as follows. 1. Level 1. The listener creates a safe environment for discussing difficult, complex, or emotional issues. 2. Level 2. The listener clears away distractions, focuses attention on the other person, and makes appropriate eye contact. 3. Level 3. The listener seeks to understand the substance of what the other person is saying, capturing ideas, asking questions, and restating issues to confirm understanding. 4. Level 4. The listener observes nonverbal cues, such as facial expressions and body language signals. 5. Level 5. The listener increasingly understands the other person's emotions and feelings about the topic at hand and identifies and acknowledges them. 6. Level 6. The listener asks questions that clarify assumptions the other person holds and helps the other person see the issue in a new light, without hijacking the conversation to focus on their own issues. In this section shows the challenges of the common perception of good listening skills by emphasizing that good listening is much more than being silent and nodding. It challenges the belief that being a good listener means remaining quiet and only providing verbal cues like, Instead, it highlights the importance of actively engaging in the conversation by asking questions that promote discovery and insight. Then suggests that asking good questions gently challenges old assumptions in a constructive way, showing that the listener has comprehended the information and wants to learn more. Additionally, also the notion that good listeners only provide feedback in a passive manner. It emphasizes that good listeners make suggestions in a way that opens up alternative paths for the speaker to consider. This approach is seen as surprising, as it goes against the common advice to remain quiet and only nod in agreement. Overall, this chapter challenges the passive stereotype of good listening and emphasizes the active, engaging, and supportive role that great listeners play in conversations. Summary of Chapter 4. How to Listen When Your Communication Styles Don't Match, by Mark Golston. The content discusses how to effectively communicate when your communication style doesn't match with others. It highlights the challenges of mismatched communication styles and provides strategies for listening and engaging in productive conversations. The key points include recognizing different communication styles, handling venting or explaining individuals, and asking specific questions to help the person process their feelings. The content emphasizes the importance of active listening, patience, and reframing conversations to ensure understanding and respect. Remaining cool, calm, and collected in a frustrating situation can be achieved through various approaches. One effective method is to actively listen to the other person's frustrations without interrupting. This allows them to vent and feel heard, which can help diffuse the situation. Additionally, reframing the conversation by asking specific questions about their frustrations and worries can help them process their feelings and lead to a more productive conversation. It's also important to remain patient, avoid reacting impulsively, and maintain a composed demeanor to de-escalate the situation. The content also suggests strategies such as focusing on the other person's left eye to stay centered and in control during intense conversations. When someone is venting, it's important to ask specific questions to help them process their feelings and have a more productive conversation. The content provides 3 key questions to ask in such situations. 1. What are you most frustrated about? Asking about the source of their frustration allows them to vent and express their emotions. It's essential to pick up on the words that had a lot of emotion attached and acknowledge them. 2. What are you most angry about? Going deeper by asking them to elaborate on what they're most angry about can help them release more of their built-up pressure. 3. What are you really worried about? Inquiring about their main worry, the core of their emotional wound, can encourage them to express their deeper concerns. This question aims to help them articulate their underlying worries and fears. Asking these questions can guide the conversation towards understanding the root of the person's emotions and pave the way for a more constructive dialogue. People who consider themselves good communicators often fail to actually hear each other due to a mismatch of communication styles. The content highlights that individuals have different preferences when it comes to communication, such as venting or explaining. When these styles clash, it can lead to misunderstandings and a lack of effective listening. For instance, someone who prefers to vent may perceive someone who prefers to explain as patronizing, while explainers may feel that venters are volatile. This mismatch can lead to individuals seeing their conversational counterparts as lecturing, belaboring, or talking down to them. As a result, the chances of either person actually listening with an open mind are considered to be very low. Understanding and recognizing these different communication styles is crucial for effective communication and active listening, regardless of the style. Developing the skill to listen, despite the mismatch in styles, is emphasized as an important aspect of effective communication. Summary of Chapter 5. Be Someone Others Can Confide In, by Deborah Grayson Regal. This chapter emphasizes the importance of creating an environment where people feel comfortable sharing their true feelings. It provides practical steps for being supportive, such as asking more than once how someone is doing, remembering details about their life, and noticing body language. The document also highlights the significance of modeling vulnerability and creating safe conditions for others to open up. Overall, it stresses the value of genuine communication and understanding in both personal and professional relationships. To support someone who may not be feeling fine, this chapter provides several helpful suggestions. 1. Ask more than once. Take the time to ask someone how they are more than once, especially if you have a feeling that they might not be doing as well as they say they are. This shows that you genuinely care about their well-being. 2. Remember details about someone's life, and check in. When someone responds with, "I'm fine," you can follow up by remembering details they've shared and asking about specific aspects of their life. This demonstrates that you're paying attention and that you care enough to follow up. 3. Notice body language and inquire gently. Pay attention to more than just their words. Notice their facial expressions, body positioning, and eye contact. If their body language contradicts their words, gently inquire about it to show that you're attentive and supportive. 4. Model vulnerability by sharing when you're not fine. Be willing to tell the truth about your own feelings. This can encourage the other person to open up as well. 5. Create safe conditions for others to open up. Respect someone's decision not to open up to you and create a safe environment for them to share how they really feel, without judgment or pressure. These steps can help create an environment where people feel comfortable sharing their true feelings and know that they have your support. Asking more than once when checking in on someone's well-being is important for several reasons. Firstly, it shows that you genuinely care about the other person's well-being and are willing to invest the time and effort to understand how they are truly feeling. It also demonstrates that you are attentive and perceptive, as you are willing to go beyond the surface-level response of, "I'm fine," to understand their true emotions. Additionally, asking more than once creates an opportunity for the other person to feel comfortable and open up about their feelings. It acknowledges the fact that people may not always be forthcoming about their struggles or emotions initially, and it encourages them to share more honestly when they feel ready. Overall, asking more than once conveys empathy, attentiveness, and a genuine interest in the other person's well-being, which can strengthen the relationship and create a supportive environment for open communication. Summary of Chapter 6. How to Make Sure You're Heard in a Difficult Conversation, by Amy Gallo. A challenging conversation must involve mutual exchange, whether it's with your teenager or your boss. Reaching a resolution is unlikely if you don't listen to the other person. Equally important is conveying your message clearly when addressing a conflict. After thoroughly listening to your counterpart, you can improve the chances of them understanding your perspective by following these steps. 1. Using I language. Express your perspective with I statements to avoid sounding accusatory. For example, say, "I'm annoyed that this project is 6 months behind schedule," instead of, "You've missed every deadline." 2. Crafting neutral phrases. Employ neutral phrases like, "Here's what I'm thinking," or, "Do you see the situation differently?" to keep the discussion calm and productive. 3. Maintaining focus on the problem. Clearly state what bothers you and what you hope will happen, avoiding blame and focusing on solutions. 4. Paying attention to body language. Be mindful of your nonverbal cues and observe your counterpart's body language. Address any discrepancies between their words and nonverbal signals. 5. Using hypotheticals. Frame disagreements as hypothetical scenarios to encourage creative problem solving and avoid defensiveness. 6. Managing escalation. If the conversation veers off course, step back and observe objectively. Use phrases to redirect the discussion towards collaborative solutions. These tactics aim to ensure your perspective is heard while fostering a constructive and respectful dialogue, ultimately leading to a resolution. Summary of Chapter 7, 8 Ways to Get a Difficult Conversation Back on Track, by Monique Valcour. This chapter provides strategies for managing difficult conversations effectively. It uses the example of David, a new business school leader, to illustrate common pitfalls and solutions. Initially, David's rigid approach led to frustration and lack of team commitment. To improve, he adopted 8 strategies. 1. Shift to partnership. View the other person as a partner rather than an opponent. Try repositioning yourself, both mentally and physically, to be side by side with the other person, so that you're focused on the same problem. 2. Adopt a learning mindset. Focus on understanding the other person's perspective rather than just persuading them. Consciously shifting into a learning mode helps us gain the insight we need to be creative, to collaborate, and to move the conversation forward. 3. Clarify intentions. Clearly state your objectives and ask the other person about theirs. Share your purpose and what you hope to achieve with your partner. 4. Avoid assumptions. Don't make assumptions about the other person's intentions. Making assumptions also limits our effectiveness because it prevents us from fully understanding the situation and narrows the range of solutions we consider. 5. Be curious. Ask open-ended questions to understand the other person's viewpoint. 6. Take responsibility. Acknowledge your own role in the issue. By acknowledging your part demonstrates how to take responsibility and encourages others to do the same. 7. Avoid negative behaviors. By learning your ABCDs, learning to avoid blame, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. 8. Seek collaborative solutions. Invite input on how to solve the problem, because sometimes humans are motivated to preserve and protect their self-image, so feedback can be difficult to receive. Through these methods, David was able to foster more effective and cooperative conversations, leading to better outcomes for his team. Summary of Chapter 8. When to Skip a Difficult Conversation, by Deborah Grayson Regal. Chapter 8 offers insights into determining when to avoid or postpone tough conversations. Deborah Grayson Regal explains that while it's often necessary to give difficult feedback to various individuals in our lives, many of us instinctively try to avoid such situations. This reluctance is understandable given the potential negative consequences of confronting issues, such as feeling taken advantage of or risking rejection and damaged relationships. To help navigate this, the chapter suggests asking 12 critical questions to decide whether to engage in a difficult conversation. 1. Based on what I know about this person and our relationship, what can I realistically hope to achieve by having the conversation? 2. What is my secret agenda, or hidden hope, for this conversation? Long-term harmony? Revenge? That they will change? 3. What concrete examples do I have to share of how this issue has shown up? 4. What's my contribution to the situation? 5. Do I tend to look for problems with this person or about this issue? 6. Is it already starting to resolve itself? 7. Have I done a HALT check? Am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? 8. How long ago did it arise? Is it a repeat or recurring problem? Could it become one? 9. How material is the issue to our relationship or to the job? 10. How committed am I to being right? 11. What reasonable, actionable solution can I offer? 12. Is this the right person to talk to about this issue? These questions cover aspects like the realistic outcomes of the conversation, hidden agendas, concrete examples, personal contributions, and whether the problem is resolving itself. Additionally, it prompts reflection on physical and emotional states, like hunger, anger, loneliness, or tiredness, the materiality of the issue, commitment to being right, potential solutions, and the appropriateness of the person being addressed. Through real-life examples, Regal illustrates how these questions can guide decision-making. One leader chose not to confront her boss over long-standing issues of taking credit but addressed the most recent instance instead. Another leader delayed a conversation about defensiveness until he could provide specific examples. A parent realized that the timing of conversations with her son affected their outcomes and adjusted accordingly. In conclusion, carefully deciding whether to speak up or let an issue go is not shirking responsibility but rather ensuring that communication is purposeful and likely to achieve the desired results. This strategic approach helps maintain healthy relationships and effective problem-solving. Summary of Chapter 9. Communicating Through a Personal Crisis, by Sabina Nawaz. Chapter 9 explores strategies for managing communication during a personal crisis. It emphasizes being proactive, setting clear boundaries, and choosing appropriate communication methods to maintain professional integrity while handling personal challenges. Key points include: 1. Be the first to notify. Inform colleagues promptly about your situation to control the narrative and garner support. Being the first to provide information also helps us ensure its accuracy. 2. Clarify expectations. Clearly state what you need and don't need from your colleagues, such as listening rather than offering advice. 3. Choose your medium. Select the best communication channels that suit your comfort and needs, whether in person, via email, or other means. 4. Pay it forward. Once past the crisis, support others facing similar situations through acts of kindness, mentorship, or simply listening. Real-life scenarios in the chapter include professionals dealing with a child's severe anxiety, personal struggles with alcoholism, and the death of a family member. These examples illustrate the importance of proactively managing how and what information is shared, understanding the potential impact on your professional life, and recognizing that effective communication during a crisis can lead to improved personal and professional outcomes. Summary of Chapter 10. When You Need to Take Time Off Work for Mental Health Reasons, by Barbara Ritchie. Chapter 10 addresses how to manage the process of taking time off from work for mental health reasons. It provides guidance on understanding your rights, communicating effectively with your employer, and planning your return to work. The chapter emphasizes the importance of being informed and strategic about the process to protect one's privacy and professional standing. The key points are: 1. Understanding your rights. Familiarize yourself with the law and company policies regarding mental health leave. In the U.S., the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, protects employees from discrimination based on mental health issues. 2. Communicating with your employer. Share only the necessary details with your boss and hour. For longer-term disability leave, your doctor's documentation will be required, but your diagnosis will remain confidential between your doctor and the disability insurance provider. 3. Deciding what to disclose. Weigh the pros and cons of disclosing your condition to colleagues. The law allows you to keep your diagnosis private, but some may choose to share it to foster understanding and reduce stigma. 4. Managing your return. Plan your return to work carefully. Decide whether to return full-time or part-time initially, considering the impact of your condition and any medication side effects. 5. Preparing a consistent narrative. Develop a brief and consistent explanation for your absence to address colleagues' questions without oversharing. 6. Creating a routine. Establish a daily routine to manage your workload and mental health. Incorporate breaks, meditation, and other activities to maintain balance. 7. Recognizing warning signs. Be aware of early signs of stress or relapse and take proactive steps to address them. Maintain open communication with your support system and seek help when needed. 8. Supporting family members. If taking leave to care for a family member with a mental health issue, balance their privacy with your need for support. Join peer-led support groups for guidance and resources. The chapter includes practical examples and tips for managing mental health leave effectively. It advises maintaining a private yet transparent approach with your employer, using support networks, and staying attuned to your health needs to ensure a smooth transition back to work. Taking time off for mental health is a critical step in maintaining overall well-being. By understanding your rights, communicating effectively, and planning your return strategically, you can manage your professional life while addressing mental health challenges.